2. Bar, we are live.
I'm here.
Day, yay. Lunch talk. Level up with the Akbars.
Let's
Next
do it.
level conversation. Yeah, we got ginger lavender today. How's it
Oh,
taste?
but ooh,
Isn't that exquisite?
tastes just like ginger lavender.
Fresh too. You didn't get
Yes,
nothing
yes.
for it, but I got a piece of lavender and a piece of ginger in mine. So
I certainly appreciate it.
oh yeah, I know you don't like all of that good stuff. So today our topic is wellness and fitness.
Very well.
Yeah, and man, wellness is super important. If I could just start out by saying, me and you've been doing this for a while now, and I really appreciate it because I learned so much from our conversations on Wednesday at 12:30. It's just a blessing. So wellness, especially during these times with COVID, many people have been experiencing so many health challenges, not just mental health, excuse me, but also physical health. You know, I know with COVID, many people are getting the COVID vaccine. And I don't know if you wanted to share if you received it or not, Mr. Akbar.
I did. Absolutely. I'm in an age I'm in an age group where my vulnerability is different from others, and I'm going with the science.
Okay.
I'm not based in what I my decisions on what a politician might say. I go to my doctor sometimes. When I go to my doctor, I don't think I communicate effectively because I'm in disagreement with what they recommend. I'll say, I don't know about that, doc. I said, we need to have a different conversation because they only operating from the information that I give them. Now, so I always believe in the scientific approach. Why? Because they are the professionals that know. And I used to be a professional. I'm still a financial professional now in a different capacity, but I'm talking about mental health, substance abuse. I was very good when I worked in that industry, and so as a result of that, I know that I was creditable. I know that people in those professions are creditable, and so they got the thing with the CDC now trying to discredit them. Those are the people that make sure that everything is supposed to be across. But I don't believe there ain't no conspiracy, to interfere with some different race or anything. I don't believe that. I know it might be some bad apples everywhere we go, but overall, when they said that this vaccine was safe to take and it can curb this virus that's killing people, almost 600,000 people are dead. You can't even kind of grasp that concept.
Right.
And I think people are so immune to what that might look like. It's like beyond comprehension. Almost 600 people dead of a virus that could have been contained, maybe not prevented, but contained, just like Ebola.
Right.
Yeah, so there were systems in place. And so we got some foolishness that came along and removed those systems. And as a result, this thing was able to spread rapidly, throughout the world. Because Ebola would have did the same thing, but they looked at the scientific approach and they contained it right in Africa.
Well, that was direct from Mr. Barack Obama himself that jumped right on top of it.
Well, yeah, and he had a team of people that respected the scientific approach.
Mm-hmm.
You see, those were the people that were guiding that whole thing. But the decision was ultimately the president. But in reference to me, and where I'm at with that, so, I mean, I'm building a generational wealth. I'm building a legacy, and I'm still in the infant stage. I'm still in the building phase of it. And I got to be around to make sure that this thing comes to fruition.
Yes.
I can't be putting myself in a risky situation unnecessarily because of my opinion.
Yes.
You see, I want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise in my old age. You understand that? And so, I don't want to be foolish and broke and sick. And so we got a multitude of people right now. I'm not gonna call them foolish, but I know as a result of not having correct information, they're unhealthy and they're without funds. And that in itself, couple when you put it in the pot with old age, man, that's a recipe for disaster. And when I say disaster, I'm talking about a high level of stress. It's just crazy.
Well, I'd like to switch gears just a little bit because I know wellness is not just about health. Wellness can be in so many areas. It can be just what you eat every day, your diet, your stress level, how you take care of your skin, your regimens, your daily routines. All of that talks about wellness, your supplements that you take. Are you putting live things in your body to stay well, to keep a well thought process? Because there's so many people that could be physically healthy, but mentally unstable, or, mentally not well. So we're talking about wellness all the way around. And when we sharing with families about, look at, are you well mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially? Those are the topics of that I just want to touch on each area. So if I might, you can feel free to ask me questions too. But let's just kind of go around to because this is a topic is wellness slash fitness. So of course, if you work out, the better you're going to feel, the less fat you're going to carry around in your body, which exudes toxics and poisons into your system. So that's a wellness. But I also want to talk about mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial wellness.
Well, about those categories when it comes. What do you think leads the pack when you name those different categories? What's the leader in there? What is the primary?
It's
What do you need to implement first?
I think the mind. I think when they say if you take care of your mind and your heart, your body will follow. So I definitely think wellness over the mind is definitely necessary, and that comes with a lot of spiritual healing. So I definitely want to ask you, Mr. Akbar, and then I always ask you all the questions. It seems like I'm an interviewer. I would like for you to ask me some as well.
Well, I just did, Mrs. Akbar.
I did. I mean, I
Well,
answered.
yeah, but
You
I wanted you to expound, Mrs.
asked,
Akbar.
okay. Well, I think that mental wellness comes so much in regards to alignment with your spiritual maintenance. Because how do you overcome just day-to-day challenges like this pandemic, Black Lives Matter protest, just unfair treatment at the workplace, being laid off, not having any money in your household for months at a time until they kick off a stimulus that probably only touches the top of your expenses, doesn't go deep, right? So, how do you maintain wellness, especially in a time like this? Now we are coming out of COVID, but so many people have been devastated. Like, far as some businesses won't reopen, So, how do you reinvent yourself? How do you really navigate through trying to rebuild? So, I think that's important. And what would you suggest, Mr. Akbar?
Man, that's a difficult question because there's so many different people that's been affected, and they're in so many different places in their individual lives. So I can say for me, I have been extremely blessed because I'm a part of a company that allowed me to re-identify myself. You see, and it's like it's endless possibilities. When it comes to faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Just those five principles are in principles around my life, and I start always with faith. So the belief in the unseen. I'm talking about the God that's only manifested through me and other people. And things that we can actually see. Other than that, it's about our faith. You see, I believe in God, and so I believe in God with all my heart, my total being. I believe in God, and so the manifestation of God, is in me. And
Mhm.
so how do I have the world believe the power of God? By me espousing on those five: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. When I become that example, exemplary, in all of those categories, then the world take notice because I'm making contributions. I'm not selfish with the rewards. I'm sharing. I'm not bearing the talent.
That's
I'm exposing it to the world and inviting others to share in its rewards. And so that's it. And so when you have that spirit of giving, because this is what we was created to do, to serve one another. And
mhm.
somehow through the ages of time, that's been all convoluted. And people got the idea that it's just about me. Whatever's about me is because I have to have what's needed to give to you.
Mm.
And so if I make it just about me and I just hang on to it and it becomes a me situation, then I mean, it's like me, pee wee.
Okay.
Think about it. Yeah. You become Pee Wee. You begin to shrink in your
Mm.
beliefs, you begin to shrink in your faith, you begin to shrink in your charitable dealings.
Mhm.
Everything now begins to shrink when it becomes me. And so, God, I believe, has us expand on giving, in that generous spirit. You see, and so, if we can just stay there and know that my position is to get in a better situation where I can give more.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
I love it. Yeah, you definitely make sense. And and because what I find with most people, I don't know if they even intend to do it, but because I think because self-preservation is first, then many people become self-centered, self-absorbed, self-seeking, and just it totally becomes, all about them. And so in doing that, they kind of forget about how am I affecting others, my fellow man, my neighbors, my family. So I appreciate that you're talking about that because I think it all still comes under wellness, being well rounded, right? And then I love to what came up for me when you talked about talent. I like the way that finances or money is talked about in so many different avenues or in ways. For instance, talent, a talent of gold. What does that mean? That meant you had to do something of some talent in order to earn that. And I also thought about the word booty. It's called booty as well, if in a pirate era. So it's just so many ways of thinking about wellness in regards to wealth, right? Um, I like when we also share with families about, what's your dream? How big is your dream? Because most people do dream according to their finances. So what if you were unlimited as far as having an endless income? Then your dreams would not be your dreams wouldn't be shrunk down to fit your finances. Your dreams would be huge because you'd have the ability to dream bigger. And so I agree with you. I love the business because it allows you to dream again. It allows you to think about possibilities that were not possible on the 9 to 5 working for someone else. And then God knows we're worn out and tired working for someone else because they're never going to pay you what you're worth.
And
So
you know what that means?
hmm
Then that, what I was talking about previously about, just thinking about me.
hmm
Well, so the income that most people are receiving from their job, the reason they have to work two jobs to maintain their life, they don't have a whole lot to be other than me. Everything that they have coming in now is the struggle that they got to maintain their own family. And
hmm
so over a period of time, now that kind of normalizes the process of me.
hmm
I'm just trying to make ends meet.
trying to survive. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
You know, um, um,
Um,
So
um,
there is no room based on how the income is coming to us. There is not a whole lot of room to be particularly generous when it comes to one for yourself, what one for your
One for
neighbor, what
your
you want
brother,
for
what you
yourself.
want for yourself. Let me ask you about this, Mr. Akbar. What do you think about individuals that are now, especially living in California, transitioning to other states where they say, it's too expensive to live in California. I'm not able to flourish here. Excuse me. What do you think about that in regards to wellness?
Well, I think people need to do whatever they feel is necessary. That's a great question. Whatever they think is necessary to maintain their mental health or emotional wellness. But I think that's all predicated on people's belief around what they're capable of earning.
Mm,
Because there's people who's not looking to move out of California just because the mortgage rate is high or the rental rates are high. There is people that's doing that with grace and ease. Why? Because they have an income that allow them to do that. They're probably business owners, they're probably entrepreneurs and something. But I'm saying, it stretching yourself beyond what you thought was possible, and then you find yourself looking back doing what was once looked at as impossible, now you have made the impossible so normal
Mm-hmm.
in your life, right? So it's like we don't pay attention sometimes, I think most of us, and I know me particularly, as the blessings are right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I go looking for something that's right in front of me, because it couldn't have been this easy. I mean, what I'm looking for is so huge, it couldn't have been right here all the time. You see, so I got to develop my belief to recognize when God give me that gift, when God put that talent in my hand, I got to appreciate and value it for what it is because I can go right past it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's a symbolic way of bearing your talent when you don't recognize that it was right in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It's a different perspective, a different way of looking at things. I love opening my mind up to being able to receive different thought processes. And so I hear that. And a lot of times I'm hearing that people are leaving because of property taxes and state taxes and things of that nature that they're trying to alleviate and avoid. And that's the way that they're doing it. And then I'm also hearing too that they're just kind of sick of the crime rate that's, going on in California, in the mentality as well. That has a lot to do with wellness because I've, had the blessing and the gifts of traveling abroad recently and just seeing that the energy is a lot different in some places that I've been. The values are a lot different as well. And just being able to see the beauty, I think here we're so restricted on mindset in regards to our younger generation. They don't have as much to do as they used to, just different outlets. Like I remember growing up in Oakland, California, we used to have skating rings. We had Malibu Grand Prix. We can get out and go ride the bumper cars. And of course we had the stadium, we can go and see games and things like that. But then we also had cultural centers, community centers, where we're able to go and not only take care of our health at a reduced rate, but we also was able to get involved in modern jazz dance and just different type of activities that can also create generational wealth, because once you learn a trade or a practice, you can utilize that in order to share that gift with others and train people, so that can become another stream of income as well. So I think a lot of times a lot of our wellness dreams pass away, so to speak, because we don't have any of the initiatives that were around. There used to be advocates that used to advocate for instance, the Girls and Boy Scouts, and just parents getting together and creating environments that will help our children to flourish and thrive, just like we used to have the ice skating ring downtown Oakland. It just seems like the things that are put in place to invoke change and growth and wellness have been stripped away, and now everything is just so um survival, uh in a survival mode. It's very rare that we have just family organizations or recreation things to do with our families that are local now. You have to go out of your area in order to have even just sit down at a family function at a park or something. It's becoming almost impossible. You got to now reserve a space, and and then it can be costly too. I mean, I know of course there's always going to be free instances and places that we can go, but a lot of things have now incurred a cost just to be able to go out and enjoy. So I think our wellness has been affected too by our environment. We used to have block parties, where everybody would come out and just families would bring a dish, and you get to, go down up and down the street and meet your neighbors. Now everybody's so guarded, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a different energy, a different feel. And so I think all of that affects wellness as well. Not even being able to let your children go outside and play. I think that has a lot to do with it. So,
Yeah. Well, so what are you going to do? What do you think the solution to any of that, if not all of that, is, Miss
well,
Rachel?
yeah, I remember we used to have neighborhood watch. We used to have when the neighbors would come together on a weekly basis at one of the schools and just talk about our neighborhood and how we can best support each other. And here in our area, they do have what's called a neighborhood. like web page where you can go on, but they told me that that got so diluted by people just nitpicking and arguing, talking about your dog pooped on my yard, and if you're walking your dog, make sure you got a bag with them. And I agree, but I think that it shouldn't have just be about complaining. I think it should get back more to how we can start educating our children and also bringing back instruments into the school district. We used to have music class. They taking away the music class. We used to be able to, rent the instruments, take them home, practice, bring them back. Also typing. They took away the typing class. Typing is a skill. I'm just so grateful that I was able to learn that skill because now I don't see that happening in the school district. Also, swimming. Swimming used to be a big part of healing and exercise for the children. You take them swim, they learn to swim. All of these things. I mean, we used to have Hayward Plunge where everybody would go there in the summertime. I don't know if they're open anymore because of COVID, but it's just a lot of these things that we took for granted. I think in the past is some of the things we should bring back. So just the younger generation to learn how to appreciate socializing. Socializing is a big deal when it comes to wellness as well. Now with this technology era, every time I get on the elevator or on an escalator, everybody's looking down at their phone. And now that they're wearing masks, just because you're wearing a mask don't mean you don't speak. You look at me eye to eye. Thank God for that because that got taken away a long time ago where people stopped looking at each other in the eye. And then all of a sudden now everybody's looking at their cell phone, typing on their cell phone with the mask on. Socializing skills have gone out the window. So I'm good at still saying hello. How are you? Have a wonderful day. You know.
Remember that time we was in Pasadena? We was out on vacation, just milling around, if you will, and we got on the elevator, and it was like 5 other people on there doing exactly what you just described.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked around and I said, "Isn't it glorious day how God woke us all up?"
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it just broke the ice, and everybody started talking. Oh yeah, and when we got off the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
we was almost best friends.
Yeah, but I'm kind of
So,
tired of being the icebreaker. I wish just other people would be friendly like that again, and just start say, "Hey, how are you? What's your name?" So when we walk, if you see every day, I'm going to stop and talk to somebody because that's just what I now. People just go about their business. They not. It's not like we care about our fellow man anymore. How are you? That's a huge question, and then really listen for the response. I think sometimes just hi, how are you became just such a way of salutation that you forgot to listen for the person to say. And then we all got what is it called? Conditioned to say, oh, I'm fine. And come to find out we're not fine. And you know what fine stands for, so I'm not gonna say that or what we used to say it meant. So I mean, just getting back to just caring about each other, man. I just think it's I don't know, neighbors don't even like each other no more. They don't talk. They don't,
well,
we used to invite
that's not our reality.
well, no, that's because we talk to our neighbors and our neighbors
Yeah,
talk back, right? But I'm saying in so many neighborhoods, I don't see that as much. Neighbors used to get out and just be talking and chatting with each other. So I don't see that. I think that should
yeah.
come back with wellness. We have somebody joining us, and I'm so glad that you did. The topic today is wellness on our lunchtime tea talk with the level up with the Akbars. And it is now 1 o'clock. So we are out of time. You can go back and watch this recording. It's every Wednesday at from 12:30 to 1. And if you go to our page, Next Level Conversation, Level Up with the Akbars, you can go back and see all our recordings. We talk about the 5Fs: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. We welcome you all to join in. Conversation in the chat. I know this is StreamYard. It's streamed on YouTube as well as Next Level Conversation on Facebook. And I'm excited to join you next week around this time where our topic will be drum roll. Blah, 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 blah. What's our topic, Mr. Akbar?
We're going back to faith.
Okay, going back to
Yeah.
faith. All
We
right.
got to have faith in everything that we do.
Okay, so we're going to talk about faith versus the church.
And we can talk about faith versus anybody.
Okay.
Right? But we don't have to versus anything. We can talk about faith, and it is.
And it is. Well, let
Yeah,
it be so. Okay. And I appreciate that. And the reason why I brought that up too is because a lot of times people attach faith with religion. And we talked about that on our last faith talk, how religion and spirituality is two different things. But
yeah.
we want to talk about faith. So I'm excited. Thank you for joining me, co host. You're amazing. And I will
Thank
talk to
you.
you soon. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you. And
day.
blessings to you.
Blessings to you. Bye bye.